we go. Let's talk about affirmative action.
The Supreme Court will hear arguments this morning in two pivotal cases challenging the consideration of a student's race in college admissions. The cases involving Harvard and the University of North Carolina could end affirmative action as we know it at public and private schools across this country. Now, the recent polling shows that 74% of Americans oppose affirmative action. Majorities across all racial and ethnic groups say that race should not be a factor when it comes to getting into a college.
Yeah, no shit. Everybody thinks that because of the way that affirmative action has been covered in this fucking country, okay? Affirmative action, by the way, 74%. Yeah, you want to know why it's like 74% against? Because motherfuckers literally think it just means like black people who don't deserve it get to go to college instead of me, a white, okay? Affirmative action is an imperfect Band-Aid solution that doesn't even begin to make up for the racial injustices that have been a core part of American fundamentals since its inception, okay? And also, not only that, but affirmative action in the form of class is infinitely and profoundly more impactful in college admissions. I am, of course, talking about legacy admissions. Legacy admissions is significantly more impactful than affirmative action with respect to the makeup of a particular college campus, specifically when we talk about Harvard. Now, Harvard and I believe UNC is the other college that they're talking about in this court case, do something called the holistic approach. The holistic approach is basically that, yes, there are demographics that they're trying to get to, like demographics ratios that they're trying to get to. That is a very complicated equation that is not simply just the SATs or whatever, okay? They're not just looking at the SATs, they're looking at a multitude of different factors, and that is so that the college campus resembles daily American life, okay? Now, for years and years, white people tried to attack affirmative action, and it didn't work. So then they decided, let's use Asian people to attack affirmative action, and this is the result. Well, actually, this isn't the result. This is a white guy still, I think. But they were tackling this by saying, well, Asian people are not allowed to go to college in the because it's not just off of the statistical aptitude test, which Asian students are actually excelling in. The moment I learned that motherfuckers in America had to write entire essays about their lives to get into university, I was fucking baffled. Yeah, I did that too. Affirmative action in and of itself is basically the Band-Aid solution, which is not even a real solution. It's also got some flaws within it because marginalization of any marginalization markers do give you a leg up in this circumstance, allegedly, so that white ladies use it a lot too, regardless of what their class position looks like. But ultimately, it's not something you can tackle because the college admissions process is multifaceted. You can't pinpoint one thing. New Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson is recused from one of the affirmative action cases currently before the court due to her past affiliation with Harvard. Longtime Justice Clarence Thomas won't recuse from the cases about the insurrection that his wife was involved in. The holistic approach is itself rooting in anti-Semitism. It was developed because too many Jews did too well on test scores, since test scores alone weren't the previous metric. Yes, it was built in the 1920s, okay, when Harvard was like openly anti-Semitic. This person isn't wrong. Except it doesn't matter because now the holistic approach is not identifiable. Or unless you're making a case that Harvard is not allowing any Jews to join Harvard or something. Affirmative action is a liberal solution that just fires on racial resentment instead of making college free. I had to cover affirmative action for a final project in college. It's the most frustrating topic to discuss in a room full of business majors. Lamau. I'm black, and some of my high school students, some of my high school classmates told me I took their place at Duke. That essentially they chose me because of my race. Duke doesn't even look at race. They look at financial need /SES. Affirmative action is a Band-Aid. And the reason why I mentioned that it's a Band-Aid is because education is seen as the only way to generate some level of upward social mobility. And because liberals are not going to fucking solve the underlying material inequalities that consistently harm underserved communities, black and brown communities specifically, they just go, oh yeah, look, we slapped up. We said if you're black, you have a better chance of getting into a college. If you want to make this process fairer, then you have to take down legacy admission. You can no longer pay for a library wing so that your dumbass son, George W. Bush, can get into Yale. You can no longer get into Harvard or Yale specifically because your pappy and your grandpappy went there. If you truly want to solve white supremacist racial inequality, obviously what you need to tackle is underfunding. What you need to tackle is obviously some kind of restitution, reparations, okay? And if you want to make college as a process fairer, make it free, no more paywall, no more barriers, and also eliminate legacy admissions. There you go. But liberals will do neither of those things. And Republicans will not even consider one of those things and will try to work to just delete the other thing. Affirmative action programs were created to address the legacy of slavery of 350 years of legal discrimination and exclusion, not just generalized disadvantage. But we've allowed these conversations to become so murky, and SCOTUS has ruled remedying past discrimination isn't allowed. Allowing powerful people who benefit from the status quo to pit marginalized groups against each other, including poor white people, only serves to maintain racial and economic hierarchies. We can address the singular legacy of slavery and poverty in this country. Yes. Would affirmative action help a poor white kid get into an Ivy League or hurt their chances because most of the students who go to those schools who are white would be from feeder schools or legacy students? They would fill in for the above slots for the demographic, white slots for the demographic. If I'm not mistaken, affirmative action does not factor in your class. Even though the holistic approach certainly does, it need not matter because it's not just affirmative action that is the reason for why Harvard has the demographics that it does. Most Americans cannot afford to simply fly to another country, study abroad, and be away from family while paying for housing, books, and transportation. There's a reason you don't see poor black kids just moving to Norway. Yeah, there is no like slots for white students. Like there is no racial quotas. It's literally the difference between Kanye West saying, I want more black students in STEM, I want more black engineers in STEM, versus Kanye West saying, I don't want any Jews in my company. Republicans try to make it seem like when Kanye West says, I want more black engineers in STEM, which by the way, Kanye West said both of those things, obviously, so it's a little bit different. But if Kanye West had simply stated, we need more black engineers, okay, and didn't say the second thing, and then people try to turn around and say, no, it's the second thing, actually, that's what they're saying, then yeah, that's the affirmative action conversation. At the end of the day, Harvard has to market themselves to stay on top. No one wants to go to a school with 95% the same background of people. Yeah, I'm not going to talk about the ADOS movement shit, Noah B, because it's unhinged and boring and not as like, you know. Anyway, in my opinion, we should all just state it what it is. Repetitions. It's good to have repeated, but let's not pretend that libs are going to solve the actual issue at Harvard just by finishing a school for the elite. Yeah, what? Chatter literally received an affirmative action mailer today. Funny enough, this came in the mail. Biden and the left want to decide who gets hired and who gets fired according to their skin color. Even pilots will be chosen based on skin color, not their flying ability. Bro, I'm telling you, bro. I mean, when you get stuff like this, of course you're going to go fucking insane. This looks like it was written by an unhinged psychopath.
Is that the rule that you're advocating, that in the context of a holistic review process, a university can take into account and value all of the other background and personal characteristics of other applicants, but they can't value race, is that seems to me to have the potential of causing more of an equal protection problem than it's actually solving. And the reason why I get to that possible conclusion.
People love acting like, hyper rational vessels, right? They love thinking about society as though it's, well, we need more STEM majors. Everyone should do STEM. And also, we need to make sure that the only reason why people can get into college is the SATs. Like, no, motherfucker, that's not how this shit works. If everyone was a STEM major and there were no art majors, your user interface would be dog shit, okay? Everyone plays a role in society. And if all colleges were just simply working off the SAT or the ACT, then again, you would have a very weird makeup. You would not want that anyway. Art majors do user interface now. Motherfucker, who is designing shit? Who is designing the UI? I'm not talking about the coding. You fucking no. There are definitely people, art majors, that touch a part of the fucking design. What are you talking about? Oh my God, dude. He said front-end developer. Digital arts and design is STEM. It doesn't matter. There is still art majors that play a fucking component in the way that certain buttons are supposed to look a certain way. Why are people doing this? UI is only one component of this. But the fucking art that came down at a certain point passed through someone who's a fucking art major. You are being purposely fucking obtuse when you talk about this. You are a fucking annoying STEM lord who is behaving like video games, movies, and applications do not have a single fucking art major touching it, okay? It is deeply frustrating. Chatter is being obtuse. Art and design people 1000% do UI, not the same thing as a front-end developer. I'm a senior product designer, BFA in visual communication art. I work as a dev in FAA Ang, and you are 100% correct. All designers are art people. It's just like, dude, I wish I don't know where some of you dumb motherfuckers who are STEM lords, actually half of the dumb motherfuckers that do that aren't even STEM lords, because real STEM lords understand their own fucking boundaries, okay? At least the STEM lords I know. All the fucking STEM lords I know are like, yeah, I don't know how to do any of that shit. That shit sucks. Leave that up to someone who does know how to work it. Half of you motherfuckers are liberal arts majors, like Tucker Carlson, like Steven Crowder, who turn around and act like they're STEM lords in the chat in an effort to do a debate, okay? You're like a business major, and you're defending the values of STEM. That's what you're doing. You're like an econ guy, okay, learning a fake made-up astrology science, and you're here to defend the hyper-logical fucking STEM lords. My favorite type of person is like the fake STEM lord defender.
Thinking about two applicants who would like to have their family backgrounds credited in this applications process, and I'm hoping to get your reaction to this hypothetical. The first applicant says, I'm from North Carolina. My family has been in this area for generations, since before the Civil War, and I would like you to know that I will be the 5th generation to graduate from the University of North Carolina. I now have that opportunity to do that, and given my family background, it's important to me that I get to attend this university. I want to honor my family's legacy by going to this school. Second applicant says, I'm from North Carolina. My family's been in this area for generations, since before the Civil War, but they were slaves and never had a chance to attend this venerable institution. As an African American, I now have that opportunity, and given my family background, it's important to me to attend this university. I want to honor my family legacy by going to this school. Now, as I understand your no race conscious admissions rule, these two applicants would have a dramatically different opportunity to tell their family stories and to have them count. First applicant would be able to have his family background considered and valued by the institution as a part of its consideration of.
I think legacy should work against your favor. It's like, bitch, go to a different college. You know what I mean? Too many of your parents have come here. Come on, go somewhere else. Go to South Carolina. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's wild. But of course, you can't fucking say that, because legacy admissions is a fundamental part of capitalist mentality. Capitalist mentality dictates that you work super hard so your children have a fucking leg up, because we cannot imagine a world in which the government handles some of that, okay? And that there is a true equal footing and an equal starting point. Americans love talking about equal opportunity, but have never actually even wanted to come near equal opportunity. We all recognize that meritocracy is a lie at a certain point. That's precisely why we work really fucking hard to make sure the next generation is better off than we are, okay? Because we know that there is such a thing as a fucking leg up that you can offer your children. That's why you work so hard. If there was truly equal opportunity, okay, if that was afforded to every single person, then yeah, no one would be doing that. Maybe some people would be, because you still want a leg up. That's understandable. Is it true that you're shitting your pants even thinking about reacting live to Andrew Tate now that he's converted? You even tweeted one day that you will react live on stream about his conversion, then you shut up about it? Doesn't matter that his misogyny is only getting worse now? This guy is more upset that Andrew Tate converted to Islam than Andrew Tate's misogyny. The number one advocate of misogyny on the internet is now somehow more misogynistic because he's Muslim. Oh, and by the way, there's reason for me to believe this. Have you seen the latest harassment attacks from parents demanding and banning LGBTQ books in school board? It's sad that even Michigan is now under the wrap of some deranged parents hell-bent on wanting LGBTQ out of existence. I know exactly what this is, because we banned his chatter's other fucking sock account. It's like Muslim parents. Okay, here, this is it. Yep, there you go. Heated debate on book banning resumes at Dearborn schools during the second board meeting. Oh, no, I can't believe it, dude. I cannot believe that this guy cares so much about LGBTQ rights only when it is to shit on Muslim people. I cannot believe that this guy who's on his 11th sock account is only here to talk about Andrew Tate's misogyny when it is to shit on Muslim people. Yeah, by the way, for the record, you want to hear something? Fuck those Dearborn, Michigan parents that are fucking talking about banning LGBT books from their fucking schools. Those parents can suck my dick. Okay? Why in the ever-loving fuck would you ever assume that I would be on board with some fucking psychotic fundamentalists because they've decided because they've decided that they want to fucking shit on gay queer teenagers and gay queer knowledge from a Muslim perspective. You, my friend, are a fucking idiot. That is projection. You thought just because I'm from a Muslim background that I would somehow be too cowardly or too hypocritical not to fucking shit on fundamentalist weirdos. Those guys are fundamentalist conservatives. I hate conservatism, not religion. Holy shit. By the way, this is why sometimes I don't address this sort of stuff and just ban and move on. Some of you might be thinking in the chat, Hassan, I can't believe one little thing that you just mentioned, that this chatter mentioned, set you off and you fucking deleted them from existence. You surely want to build an echo chamber. No, motherfucker, because I can read you like an open book. I do this every fucking day. I do this every goddamn day of my life. I know exactly where you're coming from when you say dumb shit like this. That's why it was that easy for me to clap this dude's ass cheeks and blow it out of fucking orbit. 2 takes is all it took. You should be embarrassed, by the way, of how fucking predictable you are. You should be embarrassed. You behave quite literally a fucking NPC. It's so easy to read you. It is so easy to address your idiotic fucking takes. Hassan's free speech, Keck W, he's malding. Me? No, I mean, this was pretty entertaining if you ask me. It's just kind of sad that, like, these fucking haters can't even, craft new and unique perspectives in here. He got what he wanted, 3 minutes of talking about it? Yeah, sure. I mean, so what? I will shit on bigots no matter what their background is, regardless, every time. In my opinion, it's no different to see like a bunch of fucking radical weirdo fundamentalist conservatives going to a fucking school meeting in Dearborn, Michigan, than giving them the exact same hell that I give to white evangelical zealots, you know?
Of whether or not to admit him. Well, the second one wouldn't be able to, because his story is in many ways bound up with his race.
Gets mad? Oh, no, I'm not mad. Brother, I think at a certain point you have to realize, big man, Daddy Dorito, and everyone else, I'm making content. I'm making educational and entertaining content. That's part of the reason why you're here and not harassing some other some queer trans content creator with like 35 following like you normally would, because you're a gigantic piece of shit. You're in here right now because you're like, I want to go test out and try to bully some larger leftist content creators. Okay? I'm going to use that as an opportunity to make engaging, entertaining commentary off of your idiocy. Okay? It can make you happy and make you feel like you've accomplished something. Okay, like you got me upset or something like that. Okay, and I'm happy to be the magnet that pulls you away from going out and finding marginalized content creators to shit on them. You can say, "La troll, did you get mad, snowflake?" or whatever the fuck, right? Like it's still 2014 and you're desperately clinging on to the halcyon days of Poll and 4chan. But ultimately, I'm using you. You're stupid. I'm using you for content. I'm making content out of you, and 30,000 people are laughing at you. This is no different than the last time you said some really stupid shit and the fucking high school bully called you out for it and everyone laughed at you. Okay? This is exactly like that, except this is supposed to be your field. You're anonymous. We're online. You're supposed to be fucking clapping up here because you can lie and act like you're not this pathetic, pasty little fucking loser. You can act like you're a 6'6", giga-chad jawed, mustachioed, handsome gentleman who's here to make logical arguments and destroy me. And even now, we're in your fucking field. This is where you're supposed to thrive. And people are still pointing their finger at you and laughing at you. Because guess what? You're not the logical fucking big brain genius that your mommy told you were, okay? You're just a fucking idiot. You can become one. I'm telling you, you can become one. But right now, you're just content for me. But the starting point is moving away from these circles that have filled your head with lies, okay? This guy has one chat and you claim he's a bigot. Are you mentally there? That's rude and weird. While I was typing out this, you made assumptions. Someone else claiming they're pasty and white, and now you're calling him an idiot. You're getting weird, says Stormung. Take a look at this guy. Big man Daddy Dorito is right, though. I'll just say this, Tate mentality. I'll just say this. If you don't understand how right-wing weirdos behave on the internet, and that those 2 fucking takes were a perfect assessment of how they are, because like that person was there on a sock account deliberately to derail the stream because they thought that they caught me in some hypocritical position, right? If you don't understand it, leave it to someone like myself who does, right? Just leave it to someone like myself who does understand it better than you, okay? Also, you don't have to come out and be like, I'm pasty and nerdy. Why are you fucking calling me out? Dude, please check the validity of the site so you're not spreading falsehoods. Oh, you're the one playing them out, blaming chat. Not a Tate fan. That was reactionary. I love how they play civility politics. Yeah, by the way, I'm not a civil person, Stormong. Especially if you yourself are coming in here to be like, oh, I caught you. I caught you in a fucking mental trap. Haha. Anyway, usually I ban people like you. Today I'm in a better mood, so I'm not going to. And I usually ban you because you try to derail the stream and center it around yourself. All right, let's move on. There was a Georgia preacher that fucking owned Herschel Walker, I believe. But, oh, here, let's watch this.
Diversity of all the ways people differ in our society.
The most important diversity.
On the educational benefits question, Your Honor, I don't think it's actually included here.
Tammy Tom, thank you for the 10 gifted.
And meaningful and come with diversity of all kinds. SFFA's own expert, this is on JA 546, conceded and agreed enthusiastically, in fact, on the stand that a racially diverse and a diverse diversity of all kinds leads to, quote, a deeper and richer learning environment, leads to more creative thinking and exchange of ideas, and critically reduced bias between people of different backgrounds and not solely different.
You still haven't given me.
This motherfucker is literally girl named Fish. I wish I could hear. First of all, you're a subscriber, so you're not seeing an ad right now. And secondly, it doesn't even matter because there's captions on the screen. Why are you LARPing as a person who is seeing an ad currently when we can tell you're not seeing an ad? Shorts needed to be shorter. Shorts needed to be shorter. Lil Nas did it too? No way, really? Great minds think alike. Both followers of Hasanabi. Just two Hasanabi following musicians. Oh shit. Here it is.
You thought I was feeling you? No. That nigga a munch. Nigga eat it, he ate it for lunch. Bitch, on my body, I get what I want. Like, you thought I was feeling you? No, I was feeling you. That nigga a munch.
That's crazy. That's crazy. He's so jacked, dude. Holy shit. Amazing Japanese Halloween thread. Mundane Halloween is back. Japan does Halloween better than anyone, but best of all is the annual Mundane Halloween contest sponsored by the website Daily Portals. The point is to dress up as something super ordinary. Here are my favorites from this year. Person who tried to cut their own bangs failed and now claims it's the latest fashion. Two people who wore the exact same outfit and now it's super awkward. Person who wants to use up every bit of toothpaste in the tube. Foreign tourists who can't find any public garbage cans in Japan. Oh. Person laid off from their job in the opening scene of a film. In a similar vein, random character who appears in the early stages of the TV series in order to show that if you get bitten, you become a zombie. Person who got confused about how to combine different sauces when eating gyoza and now no longer even cares. Soy sauce. Person whose skeleton is being estimated by machine learning. Person who accidentally shook their carbonated beverage before opening it. Branch manager who decided to help out at the cash register. That's fucking awesome. Okay, that one's pretty funny. What the fuck? That's so perfect, dude. What the fuck? The champion of some sport or another. The mildly annoying person wearing a huge backpack and playing a smartphone game on a jam-packed train. Twitter engineer just fired by Elon Musk. Person whose face is blurred out on Google Street View. An ear of corn. TV newscaster reporting on a typhoon. People brushing their teeth in the company women's restroom on their lunch break. Okay, this is just their normal existence, I think. D-list celebrity acting as a store manager for a special one-day promotion. That's too Japanese, I think. That definitely is like a that I don't understand that. Like I get that that's probably like the most Japanese thing. That's peak Japanese culture. Dad on his day off from work. List of family members in a beginner English language textbook. Person in line at the convenience store. What the fuck? The only person at the event whose name tag string is super long for some reason. Wow, they do it every year. This is one from 2021. Person waiting in line to have their carry-on baggage inspected before an international flight. Person who dropped her ice cream. Oh no. Guy who's able to measure 169 centimeters tall by moosing up his hair and lifting his heels. What? Dude, chat just got blasted. Insanely specific. Person who paid for karaoke in order to practice her instrument in a soundproof room. That thing in the park. Oh, tic-tac-toe. A slab of concrete with cat footprints on it. Person who briefly mistook a plastic bag for a cat. Man who will definitely be photoshopped out of this photo. Person who learns when turning around a curve. Person who leans when turning around a curve in Mario Kart. Okay, this is attacking me. Neighbor of the suspect in a police drama who says, I haven't seen them at all about 4 days now. Man who forgot he had his mask on and tried to take a sip of coffee. Cashier who politely looks away as you enter your credit card PIN. Okay, I'm done. We're done with this. I don't know how the fuck we got here. Joe Rogan is making a prediction. Uh-oh.
The educational benefit,
Remember, by the way, what I said about Kanye West's perspective actually closely resembling Justice Clarence Thomas? Clarence Thomas is also like anti-black, but also weirdly like a kind of a black nationalist, like black separationist. Kind of cool that, you know, Kanye West is going after the GOAT, stealing his bars, stealing his flow. Also a big fan of porn. Clarence Thomas also loves to show people porn. Hear me out. Very similar. The similarities are alarming. I'm just saying.
I didn't go to racially diverse school, but there were educational benefits. And I'd like you to tell me expressly, when a parent sends a kid to college, they don't necessarily send them there to have fun or feel good or anything like that. They send them there to learn physics or chemistry or whatever they're studying. So,
again, another guy who is, again, like a humanities guy who is talking about people going to college exclusively to learn about chemistry. Why? Why are you LARPing as a STEM lord? You're literally a Supreme Court justice, dog. Everybody knows what you learned in college. You went to fucking law school. Why are you talking about why only people go to... Why are they all like this? All conservatives, literally, like, they take poli-sci and they take law and they go, yeah, college is only for STEM. Why are you so mad? Because it fucking infuriates me, okay? It makes me so mad to see people shit on the humanities, okay? I ride or die for the humanities. I get very annoyed when people fucking routinely shit on the humanities and say, like, STEM is the only thing you can learn, that you should be learning.
tell me what the educational benefits are.
There's three main buckets, Your Honor, and first, and I think most pertinent to the question that you asked, is the actual truth-seeking function of learning in a diverse environment. I would direct the court to the Major American Businesses brief, which discusses a whole extensive, rigorous, peer-reviewed literature that diverse groups of people actually perform at a higher level. So the most concrete possible scenario is stock trading. There are studies that find that racially diverse groups of people making trading decisions perform at a higher level, make more efficient trading decisions. And the mechanism there is that it reduces groupthink.
Like time and time again, he's right. Time and time again, empirical evidence suggests that more diverse corporate boards, like even from a capitalist perspective, more diverse corporate boards lead to better profit margins and lead to a company being more successful. It just makes sense. You're breaking out of the boundaries. There's a lot of blind spots that people have. It totally makes sense as to why these companies would be doing better overall. It's so fucking stupid. These guys literally sometimes go, yeah, fuck capitalism, actually, because I hate diversity. They're like the biggest dick riders for capitalism until they're like, oh, fuck, man. That means we got to be around black people. I hate this. Like, okay.
People have longer and more sustained disagreement, and that leads to a more efficient outcome.
I guess I don't put much stock in that because I've heard similar arguments in favor of segregation, too.
But no, there aren't arguments in favor of segregation. No, he's giving you the counter. You can't look at the counter to segregation, which is a pro-desegregation argument, and say, well, I've heard arguments against that. You haven't.
I'd like to go to something different.
Yeah, of course he'd like to go to something different. Have you considered that Clarence Thomas is not actually evil, but just extremely stupid? I think he's extremely stupid, but he's also evil, too.
The red wave that's coming is going to be like the elevator doors opening up in The Shining. That's what I think. I think people are just like, what the fuck are you saying? They're making Republicans.
Yeah, I mean, he's not wrong. It will be like The Shining, you know, like The Murderer. Did the tweet get deleted?
Oh no, how they're doing it.
What?
I had a family member who's a boomer and a diehard liberal, and they told me when I was home this summer that they would vote for DeSantis, and I'm like, how did you lose this person?
Rad libs are making Republicans unironically. Okay, listen to me. Listen to me. There's two different sides to this, okay? If you're a fucking idiot and you already have those biases and you're geared towards that and you're just like waiting to fucking flip, I mean, you were gonna flip anyway. But this notion that like rad libs are turning people into fucking Republicans is such a silly one. Oh man, people really dunked on me for fucking microaggressions. So I became a supporter of a guy who wants to fucking melt trans people is not logical in any meaningful sense of the word. I get shit on by radlibs every day. I have gotten shit on by radlibs more than anyone else. More than anyone else you can imagine. I get shit on by radlibs almost as much as fucking conservatives do. But because I have a fucking moral compass, I have not decided to change my entire worldview. I'm not if you're so fragile to switch sides because a lib is posting cringe on Maine, then you're a silly bitch. Exactly.
Yeah.
How did you lose this person? This is a like, go to the ballot and vote blue no matter what. And you've lost the boomers.
To be fair, most people form political opinions through emotions and anecdotes rather than being analytical about it. I know, but these aren't two random Americans, okay? They are doing political analysis and assessment. And the adequate assessment in this situation is to point what you just said out. To say that a lot of people act, first of all, they don't even act in the margins. A lot of people don't actually do the party switch that these people are talking about. 80% of voters vote a certain way because their parents voted that way, because they know to vote that way. That's just the reality. Only 20% of voters vote on behalf of ideology or their ideological understanding of the world. So that's one, that is the reality. And two, when you have some people switch parties, okay, which happens in the margins, when you have people switch parties, that means that they were already geared towards changing their attitude. Like either a world-changing event happened like COVID, and they found that the shutdowns were too personally inconveniencing towards them, and they didn't want to believe it, or 9/11 happened or some shit like that, you know what I mean? And that's how they changed it. But they already had the preconceived notion. Because I understand how aesthetics driven Americans are, because there is no like material analysis whatsoever in the minds of an American. I try to always bring the subject back to economic policy and its impact on everyday lives of everyday citizens. Asked a 12-year-old boy what his costume was, and he said it's from One Piece. There's no chance you'll know. Manga. Reader, he was correct. I'm not going to reply to this. Oh my God, I almost replied and said it's actually pretty good. You should watch it. There's something wrong with me. Oh no. Is that how this works? You start watching One Piece and then all of a sudden you can't shut the fuck up about telling other people to watch it? Oh no. I will never do that. I turn away from that. See? That was a moment where I almost lost it. That was a very real weak moment where I almost unironically fucking did something that I despise. Anyway, let's wrap up this Supreme Court affirmative action case and let's move on because there's a really good fucking video here. I'm not going to do bail reform. I want to watch the devastating demise of Sneeko by Jabri, friend of the show Jabri did a Sneeko video, and I really want to watch it. I'm excited to watch it.
The students on both sides of this debate. Jan, good morning. I can't wait to hear what people are saying about this one.
This is going to be a huge case, Gail. I mean, obviously, the Supreme Court has gradually chipped away at affirmative action over the years, but these cases could outlaw any consideration of race in college admissions, even if the schools like the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, which we visited, say it's crucial for diversity.
At the nation's oldest public university, a debate over the future of affirmative action. Jacob James is head of the College Republicans at the University of North Carolina.
Everybody should get a fair shot, and affirmative action says that no, some people will be advantaged and other people will be disadvantaged based on the color of their skin.
I think it's more important now than ever.
Julia Clark is president of the Black Student Movement.
I don't think there is ever a time where we won't need affirmative action or we won't need to talk about race in every system that we have in this country.
Those arguments go to the heart of the two cases challenging affirmative action. The court has scaled back affirmative action over the years, outlawing quotas and numerical goals, but it has allowed a limited consideration of race to promote diversity.
No more silence!
But the newly conservative court could now decide that any consideration of race at all is illegal discrimination, whether at a private university like Harvard or a public one like UNC, where minority enrollment is already low. African Americans are about 22% of the state population, but only about 9% of the student body is black.
And that's not enough. We need to lower those numbers, all right? You understand me? That's not enough. I don't want to go to North Carolina and potentially see a black student, brother. We need to make sure that those numbers are even lower. Too dang high. That's basically what you're saying. Like, yo, that bell doesn't work. You knew that, right? We couldn't hear you coming at all. Oh, like, what the fuck are you talking about? And I realized you're talking about my ding, 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 ding.
Black. Civil rights lawyer Damon Hewitt is representing the university.
When you think about a world without affirmative action, think about what our workplaces will look like, what our schools would look like. America is stronger when we actually fully embrace our diversity.
Many of us far surpassed the admission requirements set by Harvard and other colleges just for us.
What a dildo. Look at this guy. Stop anti-Asian discrimination, brother. Hey, listen here. Bro, it's all good, dog. It's fine that you didn't get accepted into Harvard, homie. Chill the fuck out. Jesus Christ, dude. Jesus Christ. I'm Asian too. Caucasian. Got Asian in it. Okay? That's how it works. I got 3% Chinese in me. Genghis Khan. That's why I'm out here defending my Asian brothers. Who mocked though? He's like me.
We rejected.
Many students who oppose affirmative action, like Calvin Yang, support diversity. Yang is also backing the lawsuit against Harvard, where Asian students argue they are held to much higher standards than white or other minority applicants. He says schools should focus on giving more opportunities to lower-income students.
If you're economically disadvantaged,
yeah, dude, why don't you shit on legacy admissions, dog? What's wrong with you? That takes up a gigantic proportion. Okay, dude, here, let's play the game, okay? What percentage of Harvard students are legacy? Ooh, turns out it's 36%. Look at that. The real fucking problem is legacy students. 36% of Harvard's 2022 class can claim a relative that previously attended a university. I'm a Harvard legacy and do not want to go, but you cannot take the chance that I could go away from me. Hassan, I earned this. Yeah, legacy admissions are the exact same bullshit as legacy admissions are built on the same fucking idea that you should not have an estate tax, okay? Because, like, why should I? I worked hard for this so my kids can have a leg up. Bitch, your kids already have a leg up. You're wealthy. You're educating them, okay? You're getting them access to, first of all, they have freedom. They grew up wealthy, so they have the freedom not to worry about, like, the next paycheck or food insecurity or have to go and work, okay? They can build a wonderfully beautiful resume. They have access to networks that are not open to poor people and poor students. So you already gave a major leg up. You don't have to also give them a legacy admission leg up. Legacy admission is like the grandfather clause, but for white people. Legacy admissions are affirmative action for future CIA agents. True. It's just so tilting.
you should get a boost. Rather than just arbitrarily looking at the ethnicity, the last name, the skin color of a particular applicant.
Yang, a student at the University of California at Berkeley, was rejected by Harvard despite top grades and test scores. But at Cal Berkeley, admissions officers are prohibited from considering race. California voters in 1996 banned affirmative action and in 2020 refused to reinstate it. 8 other states also ban it in college admissions. The legal effort to undo affirmative action has been spearheaded.
You still went to Berkeley. Yeah, I mean, dude, are you still crying, bro? You went to Berkeley. Chill. Like, imagine being upset that you went to literally, I guess, the greatest fucking state university other than UCLA, but I would say Berkeley's better. Incredible school. Motherfucker says Stanford. Hello, we're talking about state universities, public ones, man. And no, Michigan, no. Berkeley and UCLA are 2 of the greatest fucking state universities, 2 of the greatest public universities. Stanford is not a public university. How could you say that when Rutgers exists? Bro, Rutgers is literally dog shit. What the fuck are you talking about? What? Merch as a 6'2", 300-pounder, 2X Himbo fitness shorts fit perfectly. 3X unionized hoodie fit me perfectly. Admittedly, I'm extremely high, but I don't think actually how you determine race for affirmative action. Is it an honor system? If you're 1/4 black, does it still count? I don't. Hustlers University is the greatest university that you can get into, and there's no affirmative action. The only action you need to take to get into Hustlers University is by getting others to join Hustlers University with this affiliate code. So I get 10%. No brokies.
By one man, conservative activist Ed Bloom. He recruited students to challenge the policies at UNC and Harvard.
You can't remedy past discrimination with new discrimination for those who have suffered from
First of all, yes, you can. That's like the entire point of like correcting a racial mistake, if you want to call it a mistake and not a deliberate effort to fucking disenfranchise black people. Okay? Like the only way to correct the wrongs of the fucking past is by changing it. Okay? You can't just literally go, hey, sorry, slavery's abolished now. Oopsie, my bad. Let's not make any accommodations and let's not offer reparations, even though we promised to do that, to black people. You can't do that. You can call it racism or discrimination because, unfortunately, without context or nuance, a lot of liberals love behaving that way. But yes, there's a difference between the racism of the past, points of restitution, okay, to correct those racial wrongs.
Preferences for whites. The remedy is not preferences for African Americans or Hispanics.
But for this,
like, imagine fucking claiming that anti-black discrimination and segregation is in any meaningful capacity similar to like minor concessions made to black people that have been able to escape the 1.5 generation of intergenerational poverty, extreme poverty that they were subjected to by the system. It blows my fucking mind. You're out there complaining about affirmative action and doing the work to undermine when their family couldn't generate intergenerational wealth, shaking my head. I would be for affirmative action simply because you still have ignorant people. Some of these ignorant people are in control and have more power than I'd like to think they should have in regards to what they can do to prevent other people from having opportunities. That means they can't grow, can't have growth or development. Affirmative action is a means and a method. It's like having a key when there's a locked door. You just have to have it. I don't know who said that. Imagine there's a whole tribe where every member gets $1 million a year and somehow there's still an argument and not a cent paid. Didn't we just improve local school systems instead, especially in poor communities? Yeah, but that's not going to happen. This is literally it. First of all, not only is that not going to happen, but in the absence of that, all you're doing is shutting off another avenue for upward social mobility for like black people. Okay. Like it's so silly. It's not like there are major fucking movements being made towards restitution, towards economic restitution, towards reparations. Like it's not happening. You can do both. No one is doing one. And the only thing that we're moving towards is eliminating the other. Are we still going to pretend that if legacy admissions favored black people, those would be gone? Wait, what? If legacy admissions favored black people, those would be gone? Not a gray name? Do you think that there's like a secret societal argument towards... Wait, what? Do you think that there is like a secret societal move towards like putting black people in positions of power or something? Like, what the fuck are you saying? Did I misunderstand? I think you meant like if legacy admissions helped black people more than they helped white people, then they would be gone immediately. If that's what your argument is, then yeah, you're right. You mean those wouldn't be gone. Anyway, like I said, affirmative action is a band-aid solution. And seeing it as a way that seeing it as though it undermines white people or Asian people is a really fucking idiotic way to look at it. Just because it is not as effective as reparations, and it never will be as effective as reparations, doesn't mean that it has to go away, especially at a time when we are still continuously crippling black communities, black neighborhoods, underfunding them, over-policing them, okay?
Students, the issue goes beyond diversity to the very question of how they think about race.
Race was an important consideration in somebody's character at the beginning of the nation, and it was wrong then and it's wrong now.
But Clark says race will always be a part of America.
I think being colorblind assumes that we are all the same and that we have the same.
Yeah, and people will say, well, that's racist. It's like, no, man. Being colorblind in a society that isn't, being colorblind or acting like you're colorblind is just saying that you're blind to injustices, because there are still injustices being conducted towards people of color. That's crazy. You can't just fucking turn a blind eye to that. You're only just turning a blind eye to racism. That's it. Acting like you are colorblind in a society that isn't, under systems that certainly aren't, under systems that certainly harm people of color still to this day, just means you want to turn a blind eye to the oppression. That's it, okay? You're just ignoring the issues.
Experiences, and that we have the same obstacles as well when we don't.
Now, because there are different legal questions for public and private universities, the court could reach different outcomes. Another key difference, new Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson will only participate in the UNC case because she is recused from that Harvard case. She served on one of its boards. Nate?
That's so dumb. She shouldn't have done that. Who gives a fuck? Supreme Court justices never recuse themselves.
Thank you so much. Our eyes will be...
Clarence Thomas has never recused himself, even when it's like literally about him or his wife.